This is the story of Operation Tidal Wave, an audacious, low-level bombing raid that sent American airmen straight into one of the most heavily defended targets of the Second World War. In Operation Tidal Wave, 177 B-24 bombers attacked the refineries at Ploiești, a key source of fuel for the Third Reich. The raid ended in catastrophic losses. 310 American airmen were killed, and dozens of bombers were shot down or lost.
History 1.
During the years of the Second World War, a modern war machine needed fuel like oxygen. The German Wehrmacht, though powerful, suffered from a fundamental weakness, a chronic lack of rich oil deposits of its own. Adolf Hitler was perfectly aware that without a steady supply of liquid black gold, his tanks, aircraft and submarines would grind to a halt within just a few months. In this context, the Kingdom of Romania, an Axis ally, became an absolutely crucial pillar of the Third Reich's survival. It was around the Romanian city of Ploiești that a gigantic complex of modern refineries was concentrated, satisfying more than 1/3 of Germany's entire demand for fuels and lubricants. For the Luftwaffe, the high-octane aviation gasoline produced there was simply irreplaceable. Allied planners rightly identified Ploiești as the fuel heart, and at the same time, the most sensitive point of the German war machine. A bold, almost mad idea was born. If these plants could be utterly destroyed in a single, powerful strike, the fate of the war in Europe might be decided within a few weeks. At least, that is how it seemed to the Allies, and thus the plan for Operation Tidal Wave was born. The traditional doctrine of American bomber aviation called for raids from high altitudes using precision, Norden bomb sites. In the case of Ploiești, however, Colonel Jacob Smart proposed a revolutionary and extremely risky tactic, a massed attack from an extremely low level. The bombers were to approach their targets at an altitude of just 10 to 30 meters above the ground. In theory, this was supposed to bring three key advantages. First, it would allow them to slip past German radar stations and achieve total surprise. Second, the bombs would strike their targets with surgical precision. Third, the heavy anti-aircraft defenses would have a harder task, given the limited time to aim at machines flying so low and so fast. 5 bomb groups equipped with the powerful 4-engine B-24 Liberators were assigned to the mission. The crews were sent to secret, grueling training in the Libyan desert. Full-scale mock-ups of the refineries were built there out of sand and string, over which the pilots trained breakneck low-level runs for days on end, practically scraping the bellies of their machines against the dunes. The Allies, however, were living in dangerous ignorance. Although intelligence knew that Ploiești was defended, it completely underestimated the fact that the German general Alfred Gerstenberg had created there one of the most powerful and densest anti-aircraft defense systems in the world, consisting of hundreds of flak guns, fighters, and firing positions hidden in mock houses, straight into which the Americans were soon to fly unawares. On the morning of the 1st of August, 1943, 177 B-24 Liberator bombers took off from improvised airfields around Benghazi in Libya, carrying nearly 1,800 airmen. It was the longest and most complicated raid of its time, requiring a flight of more than 3,800 kilometers over the Mediterranean Sea and the mountainous Balkans. Bad luck haunted the operation from the very beginning. Already at takeoff, one machine crashed in clouds of dust, and over the Adriatic, the lead navigator's aircraft plunged into the sea for unexplained reasons. Over Yugoslavia, the formation flew into dense clouds, which led to its permanent separation into 2 groups that lost radio contact with each other due to strict radio silence. Worse still, as a result of a disastrous navigational error at the final turning point at Târgoviște, the lead group commanded by General Uzel Ent and Colonel Keith Compton turned too early and headed straight for heavily defended Bucharest. By the time the mistake was noticed, the element of surprise was irretrievably lost. When the disoriented and scattered liberators finally arrived over Ploiești from several different directions, instead of a sleeping city, they found hell. General Gerstenberg gave the order for all batteries to open fire. In a split second, the sky turned into an impenetrable wall of fire, steel, and smoke. What happened in the air exceeded the limits of human imagination. The enormous, lumbering B-24 machines flew so low that the pilots literally had to maneuver between factory chimneys, while the airflow from their propellers tore leaves from the trees. The Americans dropped delayed fuse bombs directly into the interiors of gigantic distillation units and fuel tanks, which exploded instantly, creating fireballs reaching several hundred meters. Many liberators flew through burning clouds of liquid gasoline, which caused them to catch fire in mid-air before they even managed to release their payloads. The German defense was ruthless. Powerful 88mm guns fired point blank, tearing bombers to shreds from a distance of several hundred meters. Machine guns hidden in church towers and on rooftops wreaked havoc in the unarmored pilot cabins. Romanian and German fighters joined the battle, mercilessly hunting the damaged, smoking machines. The acts of courage that day became legendary. The raid ended in a hecatomb. Of the 177 machines, only 88 returned to the airfields in Libya, most of them so riddled with holes that they were unfit for further use. More than 50 aircraft were shot down, and the rest made emergency landings in Cyprus, Malta, or neutral Turkey, where their crews were interned. 310 airmen lost their lives, and more than 200 were taken prisoner. Immediately after the return of the surviving crews, the Allied command declared Operation Tidal Wave a gigantic propaganda success. Aerial photographs showing billowing clouds of smoke over Ploiești and the utterly destroyed installations of the Astra Romana and Columbia Aquila refineries seemed to confirm that Hitler's oil heart had stopped beating. Production was estimated to have fallen by nearly 40%. Reality, however, proved brutally sobering. German discipline, the brilliant organization of forced labor under Albert Speer, and the fact that before the raid the Ploiești refineries had been operating at only a fraction of their maximum production capacity meant that the losses were neutralized in an astonishingly short time. The Germans immediately activated reserve processing capacity in the undamaged sections of the plants. Within just a few weeks, fuel production not only returned to its level from before the 1st of August, but in some segments even increased. For Allied aviation, which had paid an astronomical price in men and equipment for this raid, it was a powerful strategic blow. Percentage losses in aircraft came to nearly 30%, which in wartime terms meant the near annihilation of the forces involved and was an unacceptable figure when planning further missions. Despite the military fiasco, the unparalleled heroism of the American airmen was recognized to an unprecedented degree. Operation Tidal Wave went down in history as the mission for which the most medals of honor, as many as 5, were awarded for a single specific engagement, including 3 posthumously. The tragedy over Ploiești radically changed the entire subsequent strategy of the Allied air forces. The concept of sending heavy 4-engine strategic bombers on low-level raids was abandoned definitively and irrevocably. The Americans understood that these machines were too slow and presented too large a target for ground-based flak artillery at low altitudes. The subject of Ploiești was not revisited until 1944, but this time classic. Mass tactics were employed. Powerful bombing expeditions of the 15th Air Force of the USAAF bombed the Romanian refineries from a safe altitude of several thousand meters, under strong escort of P-51 Mustang fighters, which finally paralyzed the industry there. Many myths have grown up around Tidal Wave itself, among them the claim that had it not been for the navigational error, the raid would have destroyed all of Ploiești without losses. Historical analyses prove, however, that given the might of the German defences there, the low-level run was doomed from the start to a monstrous slaughter. To this day, historians argue over whether Operation Tidal Wave was the most heroic effort of American wings, or the most costly, tragic mistake of the command, which uselessly threw hundreds of young lives straight into the middle of Hitler's furnace. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to History 1, and tell us in the comments what topic we should cover next.